Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Have you ever seen a toddler throwing a tantrum in a store, in public, at your house, maybe? Have you seen? In the playground, throwing himself or herself to the ground and starting kicking and doing like this? Well, it's not the child to be blamed, but the enforcer, the enabler, the grooming party, which is the parent. The parent is the one that should be blamed for the child's naughty behavior in public. Because the child behaves like this in public because the child knows there's no negative consequences or there are no consistent. It's very important to be consistent in issuing consequences to children or rewards. You can't just be from time to time, he thinks he's going to get away with it. Therefore, you have to be consistent. When a no is no, it's always going to be no. So the enabler is the problem, not the child. Now I have to make a determination because we're going to discuss Jared Kushner here and a little bit Donald Trump. And I'm not sure yet, maybe by the end of this video, you and I can determine if Donald Trump is the enabler or he is the servant. All right, what happened? Before I go to the what happened, I want you to make a very mild mental effort and remember, when was the first time in your life when you heard the name Jared Kushner? I don't think it takes long. I can tell you when I first heard about Jared Kushner is when Donald Trump was selected by them for us to confirm through their electronic voting machines and their software as the US president in 2015, and then he got elected in 2016 as the president. He was anointed, right? Or that's how you call it? US president. And then Donald Trump, now is he the enabler or the servant? Appointed his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, as the senior Middle East advisor to the US president with no expertise, with no experience, with no geopolitical knowledge, with nothing. Just because he's the son-in-law and he is of a certain kind of, you know what I mean. And I was like, American meritocracy at work, I guess. That was the first time. And then Jared Kushner disappeared after Trump disappeared kind of as the president, and he came back better and stronger. He was appointed again by his father-in-law as the chief negotiator, together with another nullity, nothingness, nobody, Vitkov, the negotiator for the Americans with the Russians and the Iranians. Jared Kushner. Yeah, he was. With nothing. Now, he's back here and I would like you to connect some dots. I will provide the headlines of the articles. Maybe a little bit of I'm going to channel you towards some little dots. And you might connect them or not. It's up to you. So let's start with the first article. FIFA plan for Kushner-backed $20 billion operation to run World Cup meets fury from Europe's Uefa. Did you know that? So, Jared Kushner and other guys want to buy the operation to run the World Cup in football. Kushner. Well, that's the first one. Have you heard how Jared Kushner wanted to buy an island in Albania? In the Adriatic Sea, in the Mediterranean, if you want. Did you know that? And they said, no, you can't, because it was a strategic island. It had all kind of, environmental implications. Do you know that Jared Kushner wants to build hotels in Gaza after his people clear Gaza, bulldoze Gaza? Do you know that? Who is this guy? Well, Jared Kushner's father, if you don't know, was appointed by Donald Trump as the US, because he's American, ambassador to Paris, France. So he gets all the information that comes from America through European, whatever they are, and the other way around through Mr. Kushner, who's an American, has the loyalty to the American people. Okay? And by the way, Mr. Kushner, the father, I'm the father, he's a felon. Convicted felon, pardoned by Donald Trump. Meritocracy. So let's go back to our deal here. So that's a plan. Let's see what's going on with this plan. And the last article of this video will reveal something very interesting, I guess. FIFA president Gianni Infantile, that's how you call him, Gianni Infantile, planned to create a $20 billion company running the World Cup with private investors, including the Kushner family, was announced on Tuesday and immediately attacked by European soccer body Uefa. It is not FIFA to sell, Uefa said in a statement. None of us are the owners of football. Nevertheless, Mr. Kushner, FIFA is working with JP Morgan, while intended investors include Thrive Eternal, launched by Joshua Kushner, whose brother Jared Kushner is the son-in-law of the US President Donald Trump. Okay, enough. Let's go to the next one. UEFA to boycott World Cup if FIFA plans approved. So UEFA is the European body of the FIFA, the international body. So it is the global and the European. And not only these guys, but we have these guys who said, you know what? We're not going to do this. FIFA crisis. Kushner-backed deal in peril as CONCACAF rejects plan. So nobody wants it, but this guy wants the $20 billion. So these guys, the CONCACAF, are the soccer governing body of North America, Central America, and the Caribbean, said it would reject the plan to sell minority stakes in the FIFA World Cup, putting the controversial plan at risk hours after the European Confederation took the dramatic step of approving a World Cup boycott until the plan was rejected. Good so far? Are you with me? Because I will show you now the last article, which is the most revealing one, and that would determine if Trump is a enforcer, or if you want, enabler, or he's a servant. Here it is. 3, 2, 1, go. Trump wants head of FIFA to lead United Nations. New York Post. There you go. So the US president reportedly believes Gianni Infantile would make a good Secretary General. Well, Donald Trump still acts, and will never change this in his brain, because that's how he lived his life, for his own sake, good for him, as a dictator. Donald Trump, in his position all his life, he was the god of the company. He was the god of his company. He could appoint, he could give, he could take, he could fire whomever he wanted. And if the law said something else, he would fix things in a different ways. But he was the god of the company. So now he also thinks he's the god of the world, in which he just gets Mr. Infantile Gianni and appoints him as a UN Secretary General. Would be a good one. But remember, even worse than Mr. Infantile is Annalena Baerbock, who is the president of the General Assembly for 2026 in the United Nations. She is an infantile with papers. Legal infantile. And she was just picked up as the foreign minister of a failed state, Germany, weasel state, vassal state, and catapulted like Kaja Kallas from Estonia to the position of was promoted from Estonia, 1.2 million people, to being the foreign minister of the European Union, 500 million people, a know-nothing, Kaja Kallas, keep that in mind. And then the same Annalena Baerbock from 82 million Germans, or 84 million Germans, catapulted to the United Nations General Assembly president. For the whole session, any sessions that occurs at the United Nations right now, every day, as the entire body, all the 192, 93, 94, depends on how the Americans are destroying one or another country. She presides over all those countries. So Johnny Morandi here, what's his name, infantile, he would do good to be over there. So Trump just picks and, like in his own company. He has no mentality of a Democrat. Why? After you live under a system where you're God for decades, 50 decades at least, when everybody is doing whatever you want if you got the money and you go over there, what attitude do you think Trump has when he becomes a US president? Oh yeah, I'm going to wait until the Senate decides that, and I will see if the, Supreme Court will find it constitutional. Really? Do you think that that's like that? No. So there you go. Can you connect some dots? Remember, when Donald Trump called Mr. Infantile about that American footballer who was issued a red card, eliminated, and was supposed to stay outside of the next game, Donald Trump called, and these guys changed the rules for what that player, because Trump called this infantile right there, and the guy played against Norway, whatever you call them, the Americans played against Norway, I think it was, or whomever against whom they played, and they lost. I was not happy about it, whatever, but the better team won. My point was, the politician called the head of FIFA to change FIFA's regulations, to ban them. That was corruption right in front of our eyes. Anyway, so that's it. Kushner wants to be in control of football. Kushner is the chief negotiator for the country of America, with Putin, with Russia, nuclear power, with Iran as well, with everybody else. He and Vitkov. He builds something in Albania. He's gonna build the new Gaza Riviera in the Mediterranean. Who is this Kushner, man? Now, is Trump the enabler? Or Trump is the servant who's supposed to give this guy on the goat plate to this guy what he's getting? I think you know the answer. So thank you very much for being with me again today. And maybe you have other suggestions. Maybe just friends. Maybe it's meritocracy at work and I'm just seeing it or something. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth and be just.